All right, so I want to give you all the quick and dirty lay down or lowdown of CR England and what training is like for the 2 weeks that you're there or longer. So for me, I went to Salt Lake City, Utah, and I was there for about 2 weeks, and I did the training. I got the one and done, um, which is a lot easier to do than most people let on. And I was in a different training course shortly after that. It was called safety training, and it was like 2 days long, and you get paid for that. So most of you, when you're going to go into truck driving or go to pick a school and you pick CR England, you're going to go through a recruiter process. You're going to get a recruiter that calls you and says, hey, we can offer you this. You're going to have these benefits, and the home time specifically, you'll get, every 3 to 5 weeks you work, you get 3 to 5 days home. Anything your recruiter tells you, throw it out the window. Don't believe it, because all they're meant to do is get you through that door, and they're not going to tell you any truth at all. The list of things that you need is greatly exaggerated unless you're going there during the early spring or winter. You don't need a sweater. You don't need steel-toe boots. Clothes, yeah. Food, definitely. They say bring $500 to last you the 200 weeks. I'm going to tell you right now, you better bring at least 8 or 9. Because they're either going to shove you in a hotel or they're going to stick you in the dormitory. But either way, you're not going to have a way to travel. You're not going to have a car. And the shuttle only runs a couple hours every few days. So you're going to have to pay for Lyft. You're going to have to eat out a lot. And if you get a hotel room, you better hope that they have a microwave in that room. Otherwise, if you do bring ramen or whatever, you're not going to have any way to heat it up. And the dormitories, the rooms do not have microwaves. You have to go to the one, and I'm saying one little kitchen area that they have on the second floor where you can microwave your food. There's also there's also the main cafeteria area where it's like a lunchroom / convenience store. There's microwaves in there. You might get lucky and you can use it. Sometimes you can, but other times, the staff will tell you not to. So, yeah, it's expensive together. You're going to need at least $900. I went there with 6, and within the first week, I had to get more money sent to me because I was almost out. And that was for me paying for Lyft, trying to get to the grocery store when I need to go to the grocery store, buying some extra stuff. It was just crazy. So definitely take advantage of the shuttles that they have from the school to Walmart, but then you're going to be waiting 2 hours to get back to the school from Walmart. And so, if anybody, people know about Walmart, there's not anything you can do in that store for 2 hours that's going to keep you occupied. So it kind of sucks. So once you get to the school, you get checked in. They're going to send you to the dorm room. The next day, they might ask you if you want to go to a hotel. It just depends on how big your class was. The first day there, after that, the first day in class, they're going to tell you that they do not expect to get any home time. You're not going to get any home time. You have to go through the training process, which is to get your CDL. You have to test for that. Then you got to go through phase 1. Then you got to go through phase 2. So for me, I went... I went mid-July, and if I had stayed with the company and did the phase 1 and phase 2, it would have been September when I got home. And that would have been the first time that I could apply. Let me use that word apply for home time. Doesn't guarantee you get it, but you apply for home time and they'll try to get you home around that time. There's no guarantee there's going to be a load for it. So if you got any special occasions and all that shit that you already had thought out and planned for before you went in there, you better call those individuals that you had set those plans up with and say, hey, I might not be able to make it. So that's one of the things they don't tell you. When you start asking about pay, start asking about bonuses, start asking about certain things, they're very quick to avoid talking about those topics. The base pay right now is 40 cents per mile. A couple months ago it was 36 per mile. They don't really offer a whole lot of incentives when it comes to what other companies might offer, like detention pay or TARP pay, or if you have to stay there and wait on load, they don't offer that kind of pay, or at least they don't tell you that they do. I haven't heard very many drivers talk about it, so I wouldn't expect it. And then when you get into your truck, you have to go with a mentor for about 3 to 4 weeks, which is part of being gone for almost 2.5 months. And then you have to come back and do phase 2. Phase 2, if you don't pass it, you don't get your keys to your truck, and you have to stay there until you do pass it. So thankfully they pay you per diem. They say they pay $25 a day for the first 4 days after your safety course, but I haven't seen it, and people that I've talked to that are still there haven't seen it. And then after the 4th day, on the 5th day, they say they start paying you $90 a day, and until your mentor gets there. And then of course, when your mentor gets there and picks you up, you get started paid, the fee for the road. The thing with the mentor, though, is there's no guarantee you're going to get your mentor, that same week that you get past the safety course. There were guys there that had been waiting 3 weeks before their mentor even showed up. That means what could have been a week at home in 2 months turned out to be at home in 3 months. So a lot of the stuff that they tell you up front is not going to be very factual, and they're not going to let any of you know this stuff until like right before you test. So any home time that you're going to get, you're not going to know about how to do it or when to do it or the steps to do it until right before you take your test, because I'll have part of the road team come in and talk to you. Overall, it was not a terrible experience, but a lot of the information they could have been a lot more forthcoming with. Otherwise, I would have chose somewhere else to go to, especially somewhere local. I was under the impression that once you get a job with them, you're going to be good, but seeing some of the paychecks that some of those guys are bringing in really deterred me from sticking around that place. Especially since, like, when you get your truck, like, say, for instance, you get your truck, it's a brand new truck, which is cool. But what they don't tell you, and what you have to find out, is that when you get your truck, they take the microwave, the power inverter, and the refrigerator out of there. You have to be the one to pay for that to get them to put it back in. So not only are you paying $30 a week for your tuition, you're also paying $40 or $50 a week for your microwave, fridge, and power inverter. If you don't have those 3 things, you're not going to be able to cook in the truck. If you can't cook in the truck, you're going to be eating out all the time, so you're going to be spending more money. So $40 a week for the power inverter, or $100 a week in food, or more. So yeah, they find any way possible to take money out of your check to put back in their pockets to all this shit. So that 40 cents per mile starts looking like 32 cents per mile because of how much you're having to spit out for them. They also have some kind of insurance you can buy to help protect your CDL. If you're ever get in trouble, that's like $4 a check, or weekly. And the insurance is pretty damn high, especially for a family of 4. I think it was like, the PPO was like or a family of 4 and higher is like $130 a week or some shit like that. And that's really it. I decided to leave. I got my CDL, and after the safety course, because I thought I needed the safety course, which you don't need it. So if you can find a way to get out of there, get. But I thought I needed the safety course, so I stuck around for a few more days. But I left because I was offered a different job opportunity with another company based at a different state. I'm not going to say whom. but it'll put me in a regional position, pay more, offer me home on every weekend. I'd be getting paid more. I've been through every question I can with that company, reviews and so on and so forth, and it was a good deal for me. And I've also referred a few other people that way as well. So the biggest thing is with CR England, if you want to get your CDL, it's not a bad way to go, but just go there to get your CDL. I wouldn't recommend sticking around and working with them. You can find a lot better opportunities out there. That'll start you out, zero experience. Of course, they'll train you, but a lot of these companies that'll train you, they'll still pay you. They'll pay you for your training. They'll pay you for your hotel. They'll pay for your food. They'll pay for your flight to get there. CR England will sit you on a Greyhound bus, and depending on where you come from, and I came from, Texas, middle of Texas. It took me 29 hours to get there. There are guys coming in from Virginia. It took them 4 days. So unless you really like sitting on an uncomfortable Greyhound bus, I would recommend finding a place closer by, because that shit sucks and people stink. The people on those buses go days without bathing, and it's just awful. It is absolutely awful. It's a nightmare. CR England will reimburse you $100 for a flight. So if you want to fly somewhere and you can afford it, they'll reimburse $100 of that flight, but they'll willingly pay $500 or $600 for a Greyhound ticket to get you there. And they do this because they have a long-lasting relationship with Greyhound since Greyhound practically started. So it's something that they've done forever, and they'd prefer that way because they have a deal with Greyhound. I would have preferred to fly in. If I had to do it ever again, I would fly in. You can find tickets as cheap as $100 to $180 to get there. But again, you're going to be out some money because they're only going to reimburse you about $100. So proceed at your own caution. I would say, like I said, I would say going there to get your CDL, sure, it's a good course. You get your CDL in like 7 to 10 days. I got mine in 7. And I know people that took them about 11, only because of retesting, but most courses are about 4 weeks. So if you want to put up with being at the school for 7 days, traveling on a Greyhound in the heat, and putting up with a lot of BS, that'd be the way to go. Otherwise, I would suggest looking a different direction. You're going to find far better companies out there that offer the same kind of training, probably a little bit better training, for probably about the same price. And if you ever hear the phrase, we're the safest, or it's part of their slogan. Yeah, they are safe. They're a very safe company. They believe in safety. So does about every other trucking company in America, because of how dangerous the damn job is, and how bad some of those wrecks can be. If you weren't safe on the road, you shouldn't be on the road. So they could take that slogan and shove it for all I care, because a lot of companies, they're all safe anyway. And there's some of them don't even have forced dispatch, or if it's bad weather, they're not going to make you drive through it. So I mean, don't let them tell a story and try to sway you, because other companies are going to be just as bad and just as good in some respects. But yeah, my overall experience with CR England was not such a great one. It was good for the CDL, but I made some friends, but ultimately, you don't get what you pay for, and they expect you to pay for everything out of pocket, even after you give them $5,000 in tuition. So no free lunches, no free breakfast, no dinner. Your hotel, yeah, that's paid for. But even if the hotel's in Utah, you have to pay $8 to $10 a meal, and for breakfast, and then of course, lunches, or depending on the meal that you get. So there's nothing else that would be a benefit to you there besides getting your CDL in 10 days. That's all I can really think about. I don't want to sway your decision, but I want to tell you the truth, because a lot of videos aren't telling anybody what to expect or what you're going to be getting yourself into when you walk through those doors. And, you know, if I could save somebody from having a bad experience, I'm going to. So, anyway, that's it. See you later.